Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson, which is dealing with basically the last generation, all right? The last generation that's pretty much going to be here, all right? Because what you have to understand is, if you train up the children, if you're trying to take over a place and you train the children up a certain type of way and instill it into the children, all right, just like the scripture says, you can't put a new wine into old bottles. So it'll be a lot harder for you to convince parents, to convince the children to change certain ways. So what you do is you convince the children and bring them up in a certain ideology. And when they get older, they'll be the ones creating the laws and the rules and everything else like that. And it'll be easier for them to accept it, just like with the mask mandates and things like that. For the adults that's been walking around here for a long time, they have a lot more harder time of conforming to that ideology. But then when you get to these children and they're being taught this in school, they just think it's the norm. All right, so the question arises is what's going to happen with this next generation? And when you look at these things, all right, you know that this has to be it, man, because no flesh will be saved, man. All right, at the rate that we're going. So I'm going to read a little bit of this here article just to show you as a topic or an example of how, these things are, how would I say properly to not get a strike? They're shaping the future, more or less to say, all right, if you get what I'm saying. It says, parents shouldn't have a veto on children's trans medical decisions. Should we let the kids smoke and drink too? All right, so as adults, why children shouldn't be smoking and drinking, because you can make that cognitive decision. But if you leave it up to the children, you know what I'm saying, what they want to eat at night, they're going to eat cookies and fruit roll-ups every night, you know what I'm saying? And they get older and they're like, well, I ate cookies and fruit roll-ups when I was a kid, so they're going to feed their kids that, or let them choose whatever decision they want to make, So this isn't good. This is why a parent is over top of the child and should be leading the child in righteousness. But when you corrupt that, all right, then you have everything is going to follow after that, all right? Let me read a little bit of this. It says, a prominent medical journal has agreed that children as young as 12 should be treated as equal parties. This is a blatant case of political gender identity trumping ethics. It is against the law for children to purchase alcohol or cigarettes in almost every country on earth, as for good reason. Now, they don't ever question this, like, well, who are you to say all that? If they identify as themselves as a smoker or a drinker or an alcoholic at the age of 5, they know what's best. Why don't you just let them do what makes them happy? See, nobody's, but nevertheless, it says, and then some people would say, well, this is what they think and they believe. Like, well, if you taught children the same thing, if you taught children about drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes at a young age, they would think that's just the thing to do, right? It says, we know these substances can be harmful and we protect them from the exposure to them. It's hardly controversial. Not even the most ardent libertarians will campaign for the rights of 5-year-olds to get drunk. Yet when it comes to handing out puberty-blocking hormones, medication that prevents the biological changes that come with adolescence, the debate never seems to stop. Some argue it should be down to the children themselves to decide whether they want to take the body-altering medication, but this would be reckless abdication of adult responsibility. All right, so who are these people that's arguing that it should be down to the children? It's not the children, right? It's other adults. And there's an agenda after this. All right, you have to understand. Hey, we at the end, where they were going to be taking peace from the earth and causing great death on the earth. All right, you have to understand, when you go into things like this, you end up with a zero population growth rate. All right, let me read a little bit. Was it this? Well, let me read this one in the next paragraph. So here's an example. It says, last year, a young British woman, Keira Bell, won a major victory in the UK High Court. As a child, Bell did not like being a girl, hated the idea of growing into a woman. She thought this meant she wasn't actually female. When she sought medical advice, the doctor did not question her assumptions or her underlying feelings, but agreed that she was indeed male and set on her path to transition. Now, what kind of doctor? Now, doctors, these smart-ass people, supposedly, right? They know how to take a blood sample, all right, or a DNA sample from your bones, your teeth, or whatever, and be able to tell you what chromosomes you have, whether you have an XY chromosome or what is it, a double X chromosome, right? Which will tell you either one or the other, right? But now all of a sudden, just because they say so, it must be so, right? It says, Hey, so how about you try that with court? You go and you rob a bank right there on camera, and you got your mask off, face showing and everything. You signed your name, your fingerprints, and everything like that. And then they catch you and try to try you in court. Like, nope, I ain't guilty. Well, I feel like I ain't guilty. So what? Because I felt like I ain't guilty. I ain't guilty, even though you have all the evidence right there in your face. Does that mean I'm not guilty because I feel like I ain't guilty? All right. It says when she saw. I just read that. It says, aged just 16, and after 3 appointments, Bell was prescribed puberty blockers. A year later, she was taking cross-sex hormones and had a double mastectomy when she was 20. It was only then that Bell began to realize her problems were not caused by her body. She took the clinic that treated her to court, and 3 judges ruled that children under the age of 16 were unlikely to be able to give informed consent to hormone treatment because they were unable to understand and weigh the long-term risk and consequences of the administration of puberty blockers. All right, so yeah, that was all I wanted to get. Hang on one second. Yep, that was all we wanted to read here. But nevertheless, as you can see how, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, people wouldn't even, they were like, man, it's a child. Last night my son said he wanted to be a dinosaur. Yesterday he said he wanted to be Spider-Man. Today he said he wanted to be a Ninja Turtle. We're not finna go take him to the doctor to go get no surgery to become a Ninja Turtle now, are we? Right? Anybody would say that's insane. All right, or if anything, you endangering your child if you want to go and take them to go get some kind of medical procedure to put a turtle shell on their back, right? This sounds ridiculous, but this is exactly what they're doing, right? But nevertheless, let's jump into some scriptures real quick because this is straight madness. But when you look at this and look at who they're targeting into these things, man, all right, like I said, Lord will that we're not going to go any further into this. You know what I'm saying? That we have a scripture for that, but I'll roughly paraphrase it right now, where it says, except those days will be shortened, there will be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So if we was to continue going on with all this here madness, man, there wouldn't be no generations left. They would just stop reproducing. All right, men don't want to be with women no more as far as in relationships. Not saying that they are part of that community or anything. It's just like you have like what they call it, the MGTOW movement and the feminist movements where men are starting to hate women and women starting to hate men. They don't want to get married. The divorce rate is skyrocketing. Marriage rates are plummeting. All right. People aren't wanting to have babies and things like that. So, and then you have the new communities that don't reproduce. So come on now. What do you think will happen if we was continue on in the future like this? All right. Jeremiah 51:7 says, Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken her for a while, and therefore the nations are mad. They run around foolish now. All right. How much more the nation that we live in where this is all coming from, man? All right. This is just straight madness. Like I said, if you had a son who said that, yesterday he wanted to be Spider-Man, but today he wanted to be a Ninja Turtle, you wouldn't go get no surgery done for this little boy to go put no turtle shell on his back or nothing like that, man. All right. Or go get his skin tattooed up to where, or shit, nowadays they are tattooing up kids, but you get what I'm saying, man. They wouldn't be going to go, oh, let's change the skin to green and give him a turtle shell, get some implants made so he look like a Ninja Turtle. Nah, because he believe he a Ninja Turtle, man. When he get older, he gonna think he want to be something different. Some kids say when they want to grow up, they want to be a Power Ranger or something like that. But then when they get older, they're like, that was the last thing I want to be is a goddamn Power Ranger. That shit ain't even real, right? But nevertheless, hey, coming from this here place, the belly of the beast, this is the type of ideology that's being pushed out. So, like, if the nations that's drinking this Babylonian juice are going crazy, how much more the people that are sitting at home drinking this Babylonian juice, man? They're straight, they've gone straight mad, all right? This is Nahum 3 and... Well, let me read 4 through 6. Nahum 3 and 4 says, because of the multitude of the because of the multitude of the whoredom of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredom and families through her witchcraft. So, entire nations are being brought down and being confused and brought into destruction and confusion. All right. And not just that, the different, just regular people, man, the different nations, the people that are living amongst these things, man. You got complete people that were, so-called traditional back in the olden days that had some kind of sense where, their families was, generation after generation was getting a little bit better or, progressing on certain things as far as coming up. All right. But now all of a sudden they just declining as far as they don't got no damn common sense. Like the article said, who would let a 5-year-old or a child go get drunk because they feel like that's what they should be doing? I feel like I should be an alcoholic. I feel like I should be smoking cigarettes. Who says that to a child? Who believes a child like that? But because of this here witchcraft that they pushing out, oh, no. There's multiple genders. There's multiple this. There's multiple that. You know, your chromosomes don't determine whether you're a male or a female. Your genitalia don't determine all that. It's a social construct. It's just something that was brought up. Like, well, shit, no matter what society you've ever been in and the whole existence of this whole earth, it always took one person with a pair of XY chromosomes and the other person with a pair of, double X chromosomes to get together and procreate to get a child. All right, no matter what language you spoke, what ideology, what religion, no matter what it was, even not only in a human, the human race, I guess, the human league, right, but also in the animals, man. All right, so this is straight witchcraft. This is straight wickedness that's going forth out here, man. So there ain't no hope for this next generation, man. All right, this next generation, man, is done for from the beginning. All right, let me go to what am I looking for? This has been coming out quite often lately too, but this is pretty much where we at right now. This is why this whole place has to go, man. All right. Oh, well, I can read that next. Lord will not remember. Genesis 6 and 5. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of his and every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was evil continually. So when you have a lot of these charlatans out here, you know, they say the way they speak is as if they're trying to benefit you. Oh, well, we got to think about the kids and how they feel about this and what their mindset is and everything like that. But in reality, it's only destroying the kids, man. Again, like they used in that same article, what if your child came home, because they see mommy and daddy drinking beer all the damn time and getting drunk all the time and seeing them having a good time. What if your kid came and said, I want to do the same thing too. I want to have a good time too, man. I want to be happy too. All right. Do you think that you should be giving that child alcohol or anything like that, man? All right. But nevertheless, this is what's going on right now. They're devising these evil devices and they're putting it into the minds of these children. So when the children grow up, it's normalized in their mind that this is what's normal to do. And they're going to just keep reproducing this on down and on down and on down, man. All right. Just like the social media and stuff. Like I guarantee, like somebody like my grandmother, right? You really probably couldn't convince her to get on social media. You tell her about it. She'd be like, man, that's just the devil. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to get around that. And my grandma's hardcore on that stance that a lot of things in this world is the devil. And come to find out, a lot of things was the damn devil, right? But then you have my generation that we was brought up a little different than her generation, you know, where we had a little bit of extra freedoms of certain things, you know what I'm saying? We got to listen to rap music at a certain age and everything like that. But then when we get older, you know, you come into the truth, you realize, like, man, a lot of this stuff ain't really all right. But now you can't even say nothing to these parents that's parenting out here now, or these children out here now, when they're allowing them to be taught all kind of different things in the school systems, and you can't say anything about it. All right, like they have, there was a story about in the Catholic Church where they was talking about this same topic, you know, about this here community and everything like that, where they was talking about, hey, look, we got to be able to teach the kids about, you know, progressiveness and everything and moving forward and everything like that. You know, there was a lot of wars and everything fought over religion and everything. We got to change all these things. But how you going to go to, even though it's a wicked, quote unquote, religious institute, how you going to go to a religious institute and trying to change the Most High? The scriptures say the Most High don't change. He was the same before, the same today. Even though, again, like I said, that's all wicked that they in there doing anyway. But nevertheless, how you going to try to change the Most High to fit to who you are? That says a lot about you. As for, oh, I'm better than God. I know what's right for all of us. But this is the same mindset that the people that was destroyed back in the olden days had it the same way too. Once you get so much corruption inside of something, man, you just got to let the whole thing go, man. You know, if you old enough to remember when we had CDs and stuff, you know, you got your banging CD or whatever, then all of a sudden you get one little small scratch on there, and it might be on one song. It might be on that one song that you don't really listen to anyway. So you bear with it. But over the time of some years gone by, now the whole CD scratched up. It won't even play. It won't even load. It's all messed up. It get to a certain point in time where you have to just get rid of that CD because it's so corrupted. The files are so corrupted on there that you can't do nothing with it, man. All right, every time you put it in, it's constantly just skipping until it's done for. And this is pretty much where we coming to right now. So let me continue on. Verse 11, it says, and the earth also was corrupt before the Most High, was filled with violence, and the Most High looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And this is what happens when you start going with the little children, all right, and you start brainwashing them and teaching them that this is the certain way, because these same children are going to grow up to become the doctors, all right, that's been told by other doctors from when they was children that, oh, well, you know, if you believe that you were this and you were that, or this is how you feel, then you must be right. We don't need to do no test on you. We don't have to tell you what reality is. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have no little kid go to the damn dentist, all right, and you know, the child tough dentist, he like eating candy and drinking sodas every damn night, and then You know, the dentist tell you you got to eat healthy. You can't be eating all these sweets and everything else like that. Oh, you hurting the child's feeling. Now the child gets to tell the dentist, you know what? I like eating all these foods, and you can't tell me nothing different. So now the dentist say, all right, you know what? You're healthy. Even though your teeth is falling all out, you can see the effects. But this is what's happening. Like I said, when you brainwash these children into these things like that, and they grow up, and they become the new lawmakers, they become the parents and things like that. This is what they're just gonna be destroyed, man. Who's gonna be their leaders to tell them anything right, man? All right, it's like you have children raising children right now. All right. Let me go from here to, before I forget this, Isaiah chapter 24. I'll read it from the top. Behold, Yahweh maketh the earth empty and maketh it waste and turneth it upside down and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. All right, let me jump down real quick to verse 3. The land shall utterly be emptied and utterly spoiled, for Yahweh have spoken this word. Let me go to verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. All right, so I was skipping through this a little bit just to show you as far as the Most High has to destroy everything, because why? Everything is corrupted, right? Let's go back to verse 2. It says, and it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him, right? So all these things are corrupted, you know, from the people, the children, the adults, the leaders, you know, and the followers. They're all corrupted, man. So guess what? The Most High has to sit here and, well, let me read verse 4 and 5. It says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languish and fadeth away. And the haughty people of the earth do languish. Why? Because everybody is corrupted, whether it be in their minds, their spirits, and their actions. Everything that they're doing is constantly is fully corrupted. So every thought, every movement that they make is just full of corruption. So the only thing it can breathe from there is straight corruption, man. They've completely lost their way. So this is why the whole earth has to be utterly destroyed. It says the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. So because they changed up every damn thing, all right, this is the new norm for them. All right, this is now what they have going on. All right, and again, you can't tell them anything to try to correct them or try to put them on the right path. There's a man, I should have stayed. There's a precept in also in Isaiah. Yeah, right here. Isaiah 30 and 9. Right? Not just talking about us, but the everybody that's here, especially here in Babylon, man, that's not standing up for righteousness. Obviously, we know that the only people that's going to stand up for righteousness is the elect of the nation of Israel. All right? It says, this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Most High. Right? It says, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, but speak unto us smooth things, and prophesy deceit. All right? So tell us lies. This is not just with our nation telling the prophets these things, but everybody saying, look, man, don't tell us the truth, man. If my kid go to the damn doctor and say that they were supposed to be in a different body, you better get ready to start doing that damn surgery. I don't care how old he is, or if he insane, or if he not insane. You know, they quick to tell you your child got mental issues and everything like that, and they can't think straight. But when it comes to this topic, oh no, they square on. You know, I'm waiting. I wish I had some damn kids. I'd take them to the doctor right now. I'm like, hey man, my son, he been having these thoughts. He was saying that he a Ninja Turtle. I need y'all to give him this here surgery real quick and see if they try to take my child away from me for child endangerment. And I'm like, wait a minute. What if he identifies as a Ninja Turtle? Well, why can't he get these hormones to turn him into a turtle? You know, they're like, no, we gonna Baker Act your ass and take your ass to the psych ward because, nigga, you insane. But we can't say nothing about these things, man. What do you think is gonna happen to the minds of these people that's gonna be growing up? All right, just like this girl was thinking when she was going through all these surgeries and everything, but then she finally got to an older age where her mind was fully developed, and she realized that her problems didn't stem from what she really thought about her body and everything like that. It was more or less what she was being told about certain things around them, man. All right. Hey, it's just like that movie, I think it was Babe, right? Where Babe was a pig, right? But Babe was raised up on like a farm with some sheepdogs that was herding sheep and everything like that. But see, and this is really the story of Jacob and Esau right here, whereas, you know, Psalms 83, where they say, come and let us make the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. You know, that Stockholm syndrome. They basically beat it up out of us who we were and made us think that we was a part of them and we should just grow up like that. So like I was saying, like in the story Babe, or what you would do to these same people, what's going on is you didn't raise this pig up around sheepdogs since he was from birth. He don't know what it's like being a pig because he ain't never grew into what pigs would be like. He was growing up around sheepdogs and everything like that. So he thought himself was a goddamn sheepdog. And you couldn't tell him no different, but that was because of what you trained him up and taught him. All right, you took him out of his normal environment and you put him into this different environment. So this is all that he know. You can't really blame him, all right, for saying, oh, well, I believe that I'm a sheepdog and everything like that. I got to go out here and herd the sheep. No, you should blame the person who put him in that environment without, how do I say, not being responsible enough to be like, yo, the sheepdog be with the sheepdogs, the pigs be with the pigs, and the sheep be with the sheep. That person was insane with trying to raise a damn pig with a bunch of sheepdogs as if he was a damn sheepdog. So the same way here, you can't be raising children with, some ways you're saying, oh, they can make adult decisions. Their parents don't have no say-so in this, but other decisions, oh, well, the parents got to have some kind of consent, or the parents don't even have consent because, the parent can't consent to a child drinking alcohol. That's child endangerment. But nevertheless, this is verse 11. It says, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. All right, so this is basically, how do I say, this is basically what the nation, not the nation, but the people as a whole are saying. We want to steer away from quote unquote traditional values and traditional ways. We want to come up with a new thing, but they don't even look at the consequences of these things, man. And ultimately, this is why the Most High has to destroy this place. There's another precept. Oh, it's I believe it's Proverbs 30 and 11. It says, there is a generation that curseth their father and doth not bless their mother. Going into, if you actually have righteous parents and now you send your kids to school, right? Now the kids being brainwashed with this here ideology, and they coming home telling you that they believe that they supposed to be something else or whatever, man. All right. And then all of a sudden, if the parents tell them, nah, you wrong about that, they're like, Mom, you just don't understand. Dad, you don't understand. You're stuck in your old ways. This is the new wave. This is the new thing of doing, and so on and so forth. But yet and still, you don't realize, but they don't realize they're being brought up to, how do I say, go down a wicked path, man. All right, because there was a certain point in time where they was telling where when I was growing up, they was fighting for that parental advisory sticker, talking about with the certain hip hop that was coming out. This is real violent. This is causing this is causing that. And the parents was the ones fighting against that because they didn't want their kids to be indoctrinated by those things. But what the youth was like, nah, we need to be able to hear what we need to hear. But now when you look at the music now, all they talking about is riding around with Draco, sipping some lean, and smoking their ops. And what do you see in being manifested, man? All right, you ain't cool unless you riding around, drinking some lean, smoking your ops, and what they call it, bodying niggas, more or less to say, however they say it. You ain't cool if you ain't doing that. So this is what happens when you don't have that proper guidance, right? It says there's a generation that is pure in their own eyes and yet is not washed from their filthiness. So, hey, it's up to the children, all right, to decide whatever they want to go and do, man. All right, not just the children, the same with these young adults as being parents. Well, if that's how they want to live their life, let them live their life that way. Even though it's in, hey, man, just look at the women nowadays, well, I want to have my own job, my own money, and this, and that, because this is what they was brainwashed to believe is so-called empowering them and everything else like that. And when you look at it, this is the freest that women has ever been on the face of this planet Earth, man. All right, they got the most freedoms, the most liberties to do whatever they want to go do on this whole face of the whole history of the Earth. But guess what? They're also the most depressed women, especially here in America, that has ever been on the face of this here Earth. Why are you so depressed when you got all these so-called freedoms? All right, you was free to do whatever you wanted to do, but what was you taught to do? Straight wickedness, man. All right. It says there's a generation, oh, how lofty are their eyes and their eyelids lifted up. All right, they just think they're, they're just proud of their own decisions. I just want to do whatever I want to do. And you can't tell me nothing like that. Again, going back to these women, I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I'm good. I can do good all by my damn self. I don't need no man. Then they get in their late 30s, their 40s, and they don't want no kids or nothing like that. They get in their late 30s, early 40s. Now they sit at the house. They got their career, their money. They got this nice house and everything like that. But no kids. They got a bunch of cats and dogs. They lonely as hell. Going on vacation with their little pup, what they call it, their fur babies and things like that. And I'm like, yo, and you realize, that you highly depressed, man. You see your friends or people that are around your same age and everything like that going to their kids' graduations, all right, their grandkids' graduations, seeing their grandkids being born and all these different things and weddings and stuff like that, all right, and you just sitting at home like, well, I got to replace another dog because, I done had him for 18 years and he done died and got to get another one and so on and so forth, man. All right, they don't really roll out like that, but nevertheless, they think that their way of being and their thought process is the righteous way of being because you can't tell them nothing, man. right, this whole generation is lost already from the jump street. All right, let me go. What was that other precept I had in mind? It didn't slip my mind, but we'll close out with this in the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and 21, and this is going to go into quite a bit of different things, but nevertheless, just looking at the generation of the children that's coming up nowadays, man. You know, I see it on all kind of levels. I talk to, you know, a lot of older people and everything like that, and we will have conversations about this new generation and the technology that they got, like the social media, like, yo, they got words like I'm an introvert and extrovert. I'm like, stop making up fucking excuses for why your ass didn't know how to go out and socialize with people, man. All right, I done seen a bunch of these so-called, whatever they call them, the ones that don't know how to talk to folks and whatever, they shy. Like, yeah, I've seen plenty of little children, like real, like they small enough not to even be in elementary school. When you bring them around folks, they get all shy and they hug up on their parents' leg and try to hide like they're invisible or something like that. But then you also see those parents, those same parents, when the kid do that, they be like, go over there and play with them kids. Go make you some friends. That taught them how to be social, man. You know, I be at my job and I see some little kids, again, that's not even the age to be able to go to school, you know. And I'll go by or whatever, and then the little kids will come out, hey, Mr. David, and just communicating and everything like that, talking and everything. I'm like, yo, this little kid, he gonna be a, you know, good with as far as communicating with people, know how to talk and, you know, everything, like, not to say know how to speak, but, you know what I'm saying, know how to, you know, just communicate and be social with people around them, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, you know, you have these other folks that are giving these excuses. Well, I was just born this way. I was born not knowing how to talk to nobody. No, you wasn't trained up not knowing how to talk to nobody because you was brought up a different type of way. But, you know, going back to that social media, if everybody's on this internet dating under the dating profiles and everybody got social media, that's the only way to communicate, what's the generation going to be like when they have to go out and actually be around actual people, man, when they're not behind the screens and they avatars and things like that, man? All right, what's going to happen when these children that was taught that they can be whatever they want to be is, you know, if you feel like you was born in the wrong body, hey, we can go take you to the doctor. We can fix it. What is it going to be like when they have children, if they have children, all right? What is it going to be like when it comes down to creating laws? You're going to create laws to make people feel better, all right? Because what if people just like, well, I feel better smoking crack cocaine, man. Well, what kind of world would that be like, man? Oh, I feel better if I can go on a killing spree. Or I'll feel better if I can just go around and molesting all these damn children. You don't want to live in a world like that, but this is where we coming to, man. This is why the Most High got to come and destroy this place, man. All right? Verse 21 says, for there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. You know, hitting on Jacob's trouble, but how much more? Like I said, if hypothetically, if we was to go on for the next 50 to 100 years, where will we be at, man? All right, Lord's will, we ain't going to go on for the next 5 years, but nevertheless, you know, just hastening the day. Verse 22 says, and except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sakes, those days shall be shortened. So, hey, man, you know, we would all pretty much die off if we was to continue on down this here path. We're not talking about the medical situation or anything like that. All right, we're not talking about, you know, just a lot of these other things that could end up, you know, ending humanity, like World War III, you know, the MOB, you know, all these different things like that. But we're just talking about just the generations that's growing up now, man. Well, if these kids was to grow up and become adults and have kids and, you know, take over the society as far as, you know, becoming the people that's creating the laws, changing the laws, the teachers and the police officers and so on, where will we be from there, man? None of us would, the whole, life as you know it would cease to exist, all right, because of the fact that it's just corruption around the whole earth. And like we read in Genesis 6, this is why the Most High destroyed the earth the first time, because their minds, their thoughts was evil continually, man. All they wanted to do is continuously just do evil, more and more evil, all right? I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and every will. And salutation and much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.